I feel so emotional after watching this episode of Assassination Classroom. After seeing the final chapter, I'm not going to spoil anime release, don't worry, but after seeing the final chapter and then looking at this episode and seeing some things, holy shit. Okay, so Assassination Classroom. This episode of the anime dives straight headfirst into A-Class versus E-Class. This was a fantastic episode. It actually was so much better, in my opinion, compared to the manga when it came to displaying these scenes throughout this episode, because I guess one of the main reasons why I felt like this episode was actually better than the manga was because of the way the scenes could be animated. For instance, like the action scenes. Because, I mean, when you have it to where our class, E-Class, is sitting there competing against A-Class and they're having these problems, they're having to figure out how they can do these problems and tackle them, you usually have, like, a battle sequence going on, and that's kind of what this episode was about. And with that, we get to see, you know, some really good action scenes and stuff, which was beautifully animated. I mean, it wasn't the best ever, but it looked really good. So when it came to that, when it came to the adaptation of anime or manga to anime, it looked a lot better than the manga. But that's not the main point of this episode. I want to actually talk about some certain things that really got to me. Like, holy shit, it got to me. That scene with Koro Sensei and the principal. When they sat down and started talking to each other, oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. I never imagined the foreshadowing that this series had when I first read these chapters before it was animated into an anime. I just didn't realize that those scenes, the dialogue between Koro Sensei and the principal, had a lot of weight to it. A lot of weight. And the best way to look at this arc is kind of like Koro Sensei and the principal's final match. Their final match against each other. This is the last time they can pit their teaching skills, or the way they teach, against each other. For instance, you know, they have their own ways of teaching, and this time, this is the final time until, you know, the due date of Koro Sensei's assassination is here. This is the final time that these two can go up against each other, and because of that, it's a very emotional moment if you think about it like that, but also, there's a lot of weight behind it. This is the last time these two can one-up each other and figure out who is better at teaching, so this is a very powerful arc, because now we're getting to see whose teaching is better. Is E-Class's teacher better, or is A-Class's teacher better? Who has the better teaching method, and who will come on top? This isn't really just a battle of E-Class versus A-Class. It's, you know, teachers going up against each other, and I love the way this has been done with this episode. It was definitely beautifully executed, and I can definitely see it a whole lot more and better than how the manga kind of handled it. So definitely this episode was very, very good. Now, one thing I do want to dive into is definitely seeing some very good characterization for Asano and how he was able to kind of put aside his arrogance for, you know, E-Class. For instance, like E-Class, I want you to defeat my father. I want you to kind of destroy or kill his teaching principles, and I want him to learn the taste of defeat. I want him to know that what he's doing is wrong, and I love that too. That's a very good scene in this episode. The setup is real. It's really real right now, especially for all these other scenes that's going to be coming up in the near future. It just, yeah, I want you all anime onlys to really pay attention closely to that conversation that Koro Sensei had with the principal. It's very important stuff. And then also getting to see how all of the kids are getting prepared for college. They're doing college level shit. That just goes to show you how ridiculous this test is. I mean, just imagine if you were in junior high and then you were being forced to do college level type tests. Oh my god. Oh my god, I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine how crazy that must be for people of that age. Like, you know, junior high kids having to do problems like that. That's ridiculous. And seeing how that was also kind of showcased, it shows you the level of this test and how far these kids are going to go in the future just because of how high class this test is. I mean, even though it's going to be like a low level, you know, school or college they can get into, but this is junior high students doing this type of shit. So imagine when they get to high school, how high up there they're going to be with their studies once, you know, everything is done. So yeah, I love how that was kind of focused on as well when it came to this episode. But that's about it. I mean, this episode was a lot of setup and, you know, getting ready for the next episode to really get to see E-Class versus A-Class and getting to find out most likely the results. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think E-Class is going to win? Do you think A-Class is going to win? Do you feel like the principal is going to win? Coral Sensei is going to win? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.